The college baseball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up today at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code TCE SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. And welcome back into the college baseball experience. We took a week off last weekend because there were no betting odds, but we're back because there are some betting odds. And I'm Noah Bieniek, aka 77. I'm joined alongside Johnny Venezia. First time it's been me and him on the same stream. I feel like in like 3 or 4 weeks, it's just been schedules a little bit and then no betting odds for I think 2 of those Friday shows. So Johnny, I know you were down in Florida, but just in general, how has the college baseball season treated you lately? How did the sunshine treat you last weekend?
Good time. It was nice to get away. Sorry, I was muted. It was nice to get away for a few days and get some sun. And it wasn't a weekend without college baseball. So if you want to hear a funny story, you got a minute?
Shoot. Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't say this on my podcast. So like my podcast Breaking Bet that I do every week, I had it set up while I was down in Florida. And, I'm away. I'm trying to get in the sun. I'm trying to, enjoy a little R&R. And I'm like, all right, but I got to do my podcast every week. I have to. It's something I enjoy doing. It's something I want to keep consistent. So basically, I went to the bathroom in the house in Florida. And I guess there's kind of this thing with me and toilets. So basically, when I flushed the toilet, there was water that was pouring out of the back of the toilet. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, toilet wasn't overflowing, so nothing was happening. So I was home by myself, and I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know what to do. So like, I turned the water off, and I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, like the water's leaking out of the back of the toilet. He goes, what the fuck? Like, you jerk off? Like, how about you stop fucking up all the toilets? I'm like, I'm telling you, it's not my fault. I didn't do anything. He goes, no, you clogged the toilet. I was like, it's not clogged. So basically, he comes back and we find out that you lift up the tank, and when you flush the toilet, there's like water coming out of one of the filters. So, but it's coming up from the top. So I didn't end up doing anything. So we had to call somebody to do it. But while we were figuring this out, I had my podcast live and I had Overdue. I had Will literally just running the show with me, sideline dealing with this. And like 25 minutes later, I come back and I'm like, hey, yeah, so we're running right back into this. So nobody knew what happened. And I was like, oh my God, this is what ended up fucking going on last weekend. But how ridiculous is that?
That's incredible. Crazy? Oh my God.
It's so ridiculous.
It's a great show.
So stupid. But in any case, dude, the college baseball season has been pretty good. I had a little bit of a lull for like 3 weeks, but got back on track. Last week was more along the lines of like maybe lost the unit. I actually haven't even done my full calculations from last week. I've been sleeping on that, so I probably get that.
Dude, I'm always terrible, but I mean, they're on Twitter. They're public for everybody to see for free, so I don't really worry about that too much. I'll catch up to it when I can. But I'm a terrible multitasker, and when March Madness is going on, this is now the third year in a row that like I'm just looking at my bank account, and I know I have a good March Madness, so that means baseball has not been good to me. But we've got the train back on the tracks here with the basketball season having fully wrapped up. And yeah, like I have to run through that. That's always when I lose the running count, and it just happens. I know it does, but we'll be back. But yeah, I just wanted to catch up with you and see how you were doing during the college baseball season, because man, I feel like this year has been kind of tough to know what some of these teams' identities have been. it just feels like there's been some teams that have lacked a little bit of consistency, and a lot of my preseason prognostications on some teams have not gone the way I thought they were going to be, and there are some that have, but it just feels like there are more notable ones that have been like way off compared to what I have typically, or how I've typically done in past preseasons. So it's been a tougher year for me to like truly get a read, but this is the first show that, because last week I was doing it, but I love splits and handicapping splits, but you can get into some trouble with home and road, lefty righty splits with short sample sizes, specifically with a lot of the pitchers that we're going to talk about today. Like if you like pick out their road ERA, well, they've only thrown 9 innings. Of course, they've given up 4 runs. Their ERA is not going to be great, you know. So now that some of these aces specifically that we might see on a Thursday with Easter pushing all these games up, or you know, sometimes they're the relievers or SP2s that might be throwing, there's a bigger sample size, and we're able to nitpick it, and it really helps handicapping. And I feel like I've gotten better since doing that. Game 1 that I want to jump in with you, Johnny, it's the first one. So before also this, I went through all of the games. A lot of the favorites aren't really bettable this week with a lot of the straight prices, at least on game 1 prices. They're all like 200 or higher favorites. So there's going to be quite a few money line parlays that you'll be seeing across Twitter and whatnot from me and others. And a lot of big dogs, I feel like. And there's not many. We'll throw those at the end of who you're looking at for money line parlays, and then who you're looking at as a big money line dog. But this one I felt like was notable because neither team's throwing their ace. Virginia's plus 200 against Florida State, minus 270. Virginia has Bradley Hodges on the mound, and Florida State has John Abraham on the mound. I mean, this is a Jamie Arnold price, just without a doubt. And they just totally, you know, botched this. So this is definitely going to get fixed tomorrow when they realize who's throwing in this game. Because Bradley Hodges is actually the better pitcher, too. Hodges has a 1.17 ERA and 15.1 innings, 24 strikeouts, just 7 walks this year. Abraham has a 4.05 ERA in 20 innings with 29 strikeouts and 14 walks. They're both about the same when it comes to strikeouts and strikeouts per inning, but Hodges has been able to pound the zone a little bit better. Florida State's offense has been more consistent. If you're asking me to price this game where I would have it like FSU minus 140, minus 150, not minus 270. So I think you gotta fire on UVA at plus 200, Johnny.
Yeah, that's something I just talked about on my podcast a little while ago. I think the books assumed. And listen, it's an understandable assumption because typically in game 1 of a series, you think the best pitcher is going to go and you think Jamie Arnold's going to go. But unfortunately, college baseball is not like MLB, and it is tough to assume sometimes, especially on a short week. These kids are used to throwing 7 days on 7 days rest, whereas like majors is 5. So, you know, I think because they assumed that it was going to be Arnold, that's why this price got out there. But we know now that it's not. It's going to be Armstrong. And Noah, the FSU bullpen sucks. It was their problem last year. They fucked me last year. I was disgusted. I didn't want to get out of bed for 3 days when Florida State lost to Tennessee last year. Their bullpen did not improve this season. It didn't. Like, their starting rotation is better. It's unbelievable how we haven't seen Cam Leiter. We haven't heard a peep out of it, and they're still performing really well without him. Yep. But this is not an Arnold day, and it's going to be a bullpen day. John Abraham maybe goes 3 innings, 4 innings most, and then they're bringing in a couple of other guys. Joey Vellini's on the Saturday roll, and it's Wes Mendez out of the rotation this weekend, so maybe we see a piggyback with him in some capacity, even though I doubt it because he threw on Sunday. So that being said, when you have a bullpen game, there's no way it's minus 270. And Virginia is the same sort of sentiment, but at least Hodges is a midweek starter, and he's done well on a small sample size. So you're getting 2-1 on an offense that's actually woken up. And Virginia's kind of muddling in that 500 range, which They should be much higher. Their bullpen is not good, but you're giving me 2-1 on UVA. Like, this is a big series for UVA. It means a lot more for the Cavaliers than it does FSU. FSU is probably going to host a regional no matter what, unless they just completely collapse. Yeah. UVA is likely in the tournament, but these are like, I would say I would say if you broke it down out of 100%, UVA's 75% getting in at this moment. Going to get in.
They're on the right side of the bubble, but they're on the bubble.
You know, this is they definitely want to be playing better baseball. So give me the plus 200. I think this is a really good spot. And Noah, like you said, this thing should probably be more like FSU minus 140, minus 150.
Yeah, 1,000% right there with you. And you mentioned it, Hodges, one of their midweek starters. He has 15.1 innings on the year. He usually is like around your average is 3 innings to start there. So it's 1 time or 2 times through the order. That's honestly what you really want a pitcher seeing Florida State for anyway, with the way that their lineup started out this year. So, yeah, I think it's a great look, plus 200 on Virginia there. Hey, Johnny, I don't know if you saw, but last weekend, every single day, we were getting 50-plus offerings from DraftKings. And this week, we've got 40-plus. When you do get that, I mean, we're going to get some mid-major, absolute battles. And I have thrown a few of these on here because they are the more bettable prices. And let's talk about Samford and VMI, a huge battle in the SoCon. And VMI is not throwing their Friday starter, and Samford is. So right away, that's like sending off, exclamation marks into my head. Caution signs is like, we need to bet Samford. Miller Riggins is 3-2 on the year with a 4.73 ERA, 46 strikeouts, 17 walks, and 45.2 innings. He's better on the road than he is at home. He's got a 3.74 road ERA. And then VMI is throwing Justin Spiegel. It's going to be his first start of the year. He's got a 6.26 ERA, 26 strikeouts, 18 walks, and 23 innings. And he's almost 4 runs worse at home. A 10 ERA at home. So I'm all over Samford in this spot. Samford's a really balanced team, top 100 offense, top 100 pitching staff. VMI's offense is legit, but I just think with like a big starting pitching advantage, and then you got a VMI bullpen that has not been great all year. You'll be seeing most of that through the back 7 innings of this game, I assume. I'll take the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, these are going to be 2 4 seeds that get bounced in the regionals. VMI is really fun. It's cool because they steal a fuck ton of bases.
Yes.
They have 187 steals. They lead the country. No, it's Italian flag. It's an ITAL, but I'm not touching anything in this game. It's 2 programs that you really don't get to see a lot of throughout the year, and the pitching matchup is nothing special in this particular case. I mean, VMI getting this kind of a price at home with an offense that they do have is interesting, but for me, it's nothing that I want to go. It's not a problem, but what your thing is? You like to get down and dirty with these weird mid-major programs that like nobody's ever heard of.
Money's in the weeds, man.
We've heard of Samford and VMI. No, it is in the weeds. It is in the weeds. You're absolutely right, but this is just you got to call that hotline, bro. You got to call that number, dude. You're betting Samford, VMI, college baseball.
Yeah, I'm pulling the trigger on Samford. Let's go.
You got to call that
number. Before we get back into the games, let's talk about the NBA playoffs, which are going on right now. SGPN's running another free contest. Pick every NBA playoff game against the spread, and it's a $1,000 first place prize winner will take all. The college baseball experience is also brought to you by Edge Boost. Have you ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet? Ever needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but you hit your ATM limit? Or you're like me and you take a trip out to Vegas and you don't let your bank know that you're traveling away and they won't release your funds in a completely different city. Edge Boost has your back. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds, making it easier to move money when and where you need it without the delays that come with traditional banks. For you high rollers, you can move up to $250K a day with Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals. This works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear again. It gets better. Every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account, you earn cash back rewards up to 0.5%. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. Edge Boost is a debit account that makes it easy to get started with no credit checks, no minimum balance, and no usage fees. Simply verify your identity and you're good to go. Finally, Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. What are you waiting for? Go to www.edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That is www.edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for Edge Boost today. And SGPN is also brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is the place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, plus props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations, and it's easy to deposit, and you get lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head over to mybookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN, to get 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN. And we're back here on the College Baseball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, joined alongside Johnny VTV, a.k.a. Johnny Venezia. Third game on the slate that we're going to run through is Arizona at BYU. On the bump is Colin McKinney, the Friday night guy for Arizona. He's taken the step up on 1 day less rest. Instead of 6 days, it's 5 days, still more than your MLB rest. It's a 2.25 ERA on the year, 40 strikeouts, 22 walks, and 36 innings. On the road this season, he does have a 4.50 ERA, but BYU is not throwing Peyton Gubler, who's been their number one guy this season. He's not even slated to start a game this weekend. So unfortunate news there. Not speculating on anything, but if he's not slated to go at all, that is not good news. Justice Reiser is going to start his first game of the season. He has a 5 flat ERA in 18 innings with 18 strikeouts and 11 walks. How much do you value the BYU home field here at Miller Park? As McKinney has been a little bit worse on the road than he has been at home, but he's still been great. And this BYU offense is nothing to take home about. I'm still going to land on Arizona. It's a bettable price. So for those that are bullish on Arizona, you can go ahead and take that. I haven't gone through the entire slate and know what kind of volume I'll be throwing out there. So this is not one of them that I'm circling right away and running to the counter, but I like Arizona here, Johnny.
I mean, yeah, 175 seems like a 175 seems like a decent price. I mean, BYU has this like tendency, even though they're not a good team, like at home, it's a little bit different. There's like some of these home field advantages, and BYU seemingly has one where they play a lot better. Jacob Reiser, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Jacob Reiser is more of a bullpen guy. He's not really a true starter. He is a lefty, which does give Arizona some problems, but I feel like if Arizona's offense struggles against him, that's a little bit of a bigger issue.
They have figured out some of it. There have been some bats that have stepped up, notably Aaron Walton as a right-handed stick, and Adonis Guzman has been a big breakout.
Yeah, but we're saying in general, dude, and it depends what lefties they're facing, and also some of it comes from like bullpens. We're talking about it's hard to decipher because the amount of splits and stats aren't as readily available and accessible in this sport as like an MLB. But I mean, like we saw Harrison Bodorf. Harrison Bodorf went complete game, 10 innings against Arizona last Friday.
I mean, he is like a fucking stud, though. He's doing that to a lot of people.
He is a stud, but he's not somebody that I would think is considered a first-round pick. Like, he's good. He's definitely I would say he's probably a top 20 starting pitcher in college baseball.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment, but
he's close. Yeah,
In any case, man, in any case, I don't know if BYU's pitching, even with a lefty going here, is going to be enough. Arizona's Colin McKinney hasn't looked good, though. He had a good start last week against OK State, but otherwise he was struggling before that. I mean, listen, I think Arizona's a solid play. I'm not dying to bet them, so I probably will stay off most likely. I will be interested in going with them on Sunday with our boy Smith Bailey. That is pretty much the only time that I look to bet Arizona is when Smith Bailey's on the bump.
Yeah, love me some of that freshman there. He's been pretty automatic in game 3 for Arizona this season. The next game here is TCU at UCF. The Horned Frogs are minus 130 down in Orlando against the Knights, plus 100. TCU moved up Tommy Lepore. So their Friday guy now throwing here on Thursday. He's 5-2 on the year. I mean, he started the year as the Saturday guy. And then when who was it on Friday originally? That
Cademan Parker.
Yep. And he missed some time. So then it's been a smooth transition of Lepore throwing high 90s, touching triple digits. 5-2 on the year, 2.44 ERA, 51.2 innings, 46 strikeouts, 18 walks. And on the road, no shoe at all. 2 flat ERA, even better than it has been on the regular season. And then for UCF, it's been Camden Wicker last couple of weekends here. He's only got 12 innings on the year, 6 ERA, 16 strikeouts, 5 walks. Against Kansas State, he went pretty well last weekend. But it's got to be TCU in the spot, right, Johnny?
Yeah, I was talking about this on my podcast. It didn't make any sense. Like, okay, so both of us liked UCF coming in. When we did our Big 12 preview, both of us liked UCF as a dark horse this year.
Yep.
And I think we also both like Kansas in terms of the conference dark horses.
Yeah.
Right?
I had them. I think I had Kansas like 6th, but yeah, and UCF 4th. But yeah.
But at least for me, I wasn't that big on TCU, and I'm still not necessarily on TCU.
Yeah, I know Colby had TCU winning it, and I had TCU 2nd.
Yeah, I probably had TCU maybe 4th or 5th. I don't remember off the top of my head, but so TCU I still approach with caution, but on my podcast, I'm talking like, why is this a 130 price? I think TCU should be closer to a $2 favorite here. UCF is so bad this year. UCF has been such a disappointment. And like one of the things that we thought might be a big advantage for them has been their pitching. Like their pitching was supposed to be really good with a good rotation, with some good bullpen options. And they don't have one legitimate starter. They don't have one guy that you feel confident in betting in like every time he takes the mound. And Tommy Lepore, dude, like Saturday to Friday roll, especially with the absence of Ben Abelt coming into this year, like the pitching was going through a big transition. I mean, Lepore has just been unbelievable. 7 innings, 1 run, 11 Ks against Kansas. A sweep against Kansas is a loud fucking statement. 7 shutty the week before against BYU. 6 innings, 2 runs against Houston. 6 innings, 2 runs against Texas Tech. 5 innings, 1 earned against Arizona State. That's all in conference. He's only allowed 6 earned runs in 6 starts.
Yeah,
or 5
the
starts.
drinking boys in the chat are talking about it. I went and looked it up. 174 Big 12 ERA. To your point,
dude, it's nuts. And like Lepore's been unreal. And like this is the guy that's really been the reliable arm. So this is what I'm saying. Like I don't necessarily love TCU. I think they're interesting. I think they're definitely capable of taking advantage of a matchup. I mean, Sawyer Strohsnyder looks like he's probably going to be the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. The way he's going, this kid's on fire. The offense has some guys, but like the consistency issues is still a little bit of a concern for me. But like it is in most cases, when we take teams, it comes down to the pitcher. Tommy Lepore over pretty much anybody in the Big 12 right now is it's an automatic one for me. And the question is, why are they minus 130? It seems a little fishy even on the road. TCU coming off a really, really good last few weeks. It's TCU all the way.
Yeah, and we saw Kansas go down there in UCF and sweep them. So, and TCU just swept Kansas. There is a chance of that circle or triangle of death like we just saw in the ACC, where Florida State, got blown out by Wake Forest twice, but then they go on the road and sweep Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech swept Wake. It's just like very confusing, but yeah.
And also TCU's been good on the road this year. I mean, so I want to real quick. I want to answer our guy Lupton Drinking Club. And yes, it seems like I do have issues with toilets. Not sure why, but this is a team that they have talent. They have interesting guys that can do really well, and that's even without Ben Abel. But pitching depth is something that is a little bit concerning to me. I mean, Parker's been pretty solid this year, but like once you start getting into some of the aspects of, the bullpen, I don't know if it's truly built to be a deep contender this year. They got smoked by Arizona State. Really the Kansas series was the big win. That was the eye-opening win, but otherwise they haven't had anything that's really impressed me this year. They lost to Southern Miss. They lost to Arkansas earlier in the year. They don't really have anything signature outside of that Kansas sweep, which is impressive. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, I need to see a little bit more before I'm like, all right, I'm in on TCU. Like, I think right now TCU is maybe at best win a region. At best. And that depends who they get. Like if they get a Texas A&M in their region, I don't know. I don't know.
Is there something to the fact that TCU is having a very solid season with Anthony Silva, like not playing like an absolute star like we thought he was going to be after his freshman year, and you did talk about with Stroh and Noah Franco, their two freshmen have been elite, and Carson Bowen's figured it out recently here, 323 average. But yeah, I mean, I guess I just kind of thought that Silva would be, up there a little bit more as a bigger contributor to this team. And it's been impressive what they've done even without it. 28.
I mean, I don't. The thing is, like, he's not somebody that. I hate to say it, but I just don't know if he's that good. I don't know if Silva's that good, and it sucks because, bro, like during the 2023 College World Series, like I mean, even
that
during
kid
the
was
season,
a slam dunk first rounder.
Yeah, like bro, this kid had so much talent, and like he was putting it on in Omaha, which is like a dead giveaway that he was going to be a first rounder. Like this kid is a legitimate first rounder in 2 years when he's draft eligible. He's potentially a top 10, top 15 pick, and he's disappeared these last 2 years, and like there's so many flaws in his game, and I honestly, I don't know if he's good, man.
This team reminds me a hell of a lot of their 2023 team, just like pitching injuries. And we've seen guys step up into their big roles, right? So Cole Klecker.
They were bad. They were bad in the first half of 23. Like they've been good this year. Like they've been a good team. So
that was like their point where they were trying to figure it out. And they had Klecker and Abel injured to begin the year. And it's like, okay, we're thrown in the fire without our 1 and 2 on the weekend that we thought we were going to have. So, and then you've got two freshmen offensively that are playing out of their mind. 2023, it was Carson Bowen and Silva, and this year you've got Stroh and Noah Franco.
I mean, that's surprising. Those are like the surprises because, like, their offense really. Before these two guys started to emerge, and I think Stroh is a little bit more of a bigger surprise in how well he's doing. I mean, their offense was disgusting. I mean, I remember watching that the Southern Miss series earlier this year, and I'm like, dude, their offense is awful. It's terrible. And listen, they've started to come alive when you get these freshmen that emerge, and Noah Franco's probably going to be a first rounder in a couple of years. Like this kid's legit. Yeah. I mean, He's very Jack Kaggs-esque. Stroh, I mean, he's having a big year. So you get these guys that emerge. But, I mean, I still think this is a team that needs to prove it a little bit more. They had a great win against Kansas in the sweep. And a sweep at UCF is good. Like, you do what you're supposed to do, but it's not like something that I'd be overly impressed by.
Right.
I think if they won at Arizona, I'd be like, okay, that's nice. Like, I'm not huge on Arizona. So otherwise, like, their schedule is relatively not going to deal with many tough teams. So, TCU is just taking care of business, and it seems like they're going to be a team that's going to end up hosting. But then it depends if they have to run into like a Texas A&M in the region.
The Big 12 winner, whether it be the regular season or the conference tournament, who might have like a better overall record, one Big 12 team is going to host. So right now, TCU, West Virginia, take your pick at those two right now seem like the two choices that could slide into the top 16. We're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be home free right after that. I do promise. But Underdog Pick'em right now, you can win up to 100x in their Pick'em. Sign up today at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com. Play over there in their Pick'em. They have college baseball player projections sometimes. Promo code TCESGPN. And the college baseball experience is also brought to you by Rhythm. They are your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball, plus they have models for NBA and golf. Picks so good, it feels like you're cheating. Build your own model, simple and easy. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25, or you can get 50% off an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That is RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50, Rhythm. And we're home free here on the College Baseball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, joined alongside Johnny Venezia, and Louisville Clemson is next up on our list of games that, the favorites listed at a bettable price. The Cardinals are plus 140. The Tigers are minus 180. And Johnny, I don't know if you caught this news, but Coach McDonald in a presser says that Patrick Forbes, who's been their Friday night guy for the entire year, will probably skip this weekend's start. We have two TBAs, but I'm assuming it's going to be Aiden Knock for Clemson. He hasn't not started the first game of a series so far this season, so I think they'll allow him to go on a day shorter rest, and that just preps him for regionals and super regionals where this may come about when they move up your super regional a day and whatnot. So, Aiden Knock on the year. He has set up this Clemson team to win in every single one of his appearances. He's 6-0. They either lose the lead after he comes out, or they win the game when, he kept it within a run or two when they were down when he came out. 3.96 ERA on the year, 67 strikeouts, 15 walks in 50 innings. It's a 3.96 ERA at home, a 2.41 ERA. This kid's been dominant. I'm okay jumping on a minus 180 price and it not being Canuck because I do trust Clemson at home, and Louisville on the road has just not been as strong this season. I'm going to play the minus 180 blind, and if it's Canuck, then I'm going to get great CLV, and this one's going to close at 220.
Yeah, again, I talked about this on Breaking Bet, the fact that we know it's not going to be Patrick Forbes, most likely. So I did see that as well. But what that also means, if you're using context clues, like, Peter Michael's not going to go because he threw on Sunday. Parker Detmers isn't going to throw because he's still a couple weeks away from returning. So there's really very limited options here. And Clemson at home, where they play very, very good. It's a tough place to play for an opponent. Louisville does not play well on the road. You have Aiden Canuck, who I would bet is going to go. And he's legit, man. He's going to be one of the first arms off the board next summer, whether it's college or just in general with high school or international players. Clemson has been ripping with him. He started the season. He was a little shaky, but he's been really good this year. He had one tough start at Georgia Tech, 5 innings, 5 earned, but otherwise he's been humming. And I think he's going to continue to do that. And 180 is a steal as far as it goes, which is why I made it a 2-unit play on my Discord for this week. I don't like doing that, but I only do it if I feel like there's a very, very good matchup that I'm very confident in.
And plus, I mean, it's almost $2. So, I mean, when you get up to that $2 price, 2 units you're winning 1 unit back on a win. So that's totally fine.
It's a big swing. I mean, I mean, that's 360 to win 200. So that's a very big swing. You're either winning 2 units or you're losing 3.6. So that's almost a 6 unit swing.
I guess I wasn't viewing it as your unit size is to win a unit rather than, hey, this is what we're betting. We're just going to multiply it by 2. Cool. Good to know. Yeah, so Clemson is the pick there. Let's talk about your alma mater. They're plus 154 and absolutely rolling right now. And they're at Creighton minus 200. St. John's is starting a freshman. He's 2-3 on the year. 4.54 ERA on the year. 39.2 innings. 20 strikeouts. 26 walks. 7.13 road ERA. 3 runs worse on the road than on the year. And he's going up against the 6th-year senior of Creighton, Dominic Cancellari. And he's got a 2.08 ERA and 17.1 innings, 20 strikeouts, 12 walks. He hasn't started too many games for Creighton this season, but in his 6 years, he does have over 10 starts. So I think Creighton's my pick here. St. John's has been absolutely rolling. Like I said, I think they're 18-3 or something like that in their last 21 plus games. But Creighton, I think, has been one of the better teams throughout the year in the Big East. I'll take the Blue Jays as my pick in this game, Johnny.
I haven't really done a lot of St. John's watching since the first couple weeks. I think maybe St. John's when they played Liberty was the last time I really sat down and watched the Red Storm game. I don't have anything in this one. I don't really get to watch a lot of the Big East throughout the year. You can watch them on ESPN Plus, but you can't really bet on them because the numbers aren't really offered. So,
well, yeah, I mean, we don't see odds on these games a whole lot, so I don't blame you at all. So, yeah, I do the same thing.
I don't have a play on this one.
Georgia at Vanderbilt is next up for us. The Bulldogs are minus 154. Johnny's sporting the Vandy Boys merch over there, and they're plus 120 on the money line here. Brian Curley is going to get the start for the Dogs. He's got a 3.48 ERA, 33.2 innings on the season, 43 strikeouts, 15 walks. Johnny, take a guess. His regular season ERA is 3.48. What's Brian Curley's road ERA this season?
It's either really good or it's really bad. I'm gonna go with 7.
It's a 1.29 road ERA.
Okay. He was really good. I took a guess.
He's just been a Bulldog though. Like you could totally see that. Like put him in a hostile environment, it doesn't affect him. I mean, this kid's standing at 5'9", chucking triple digits, and he's just doesn't look like anything phases him when he's on the bump. So I totally believe that split. And I think that like going up against a Vanderbilt lineup like this, Brody Johnston seems to me like I don't know how well he did last weekend. I wasn't paying too close of attention against the Oklahoma Sooners. I know they blew up in game 3, but game 1 and game 2, it was pretty quiet. I'm not like huge on Vanderbilt's offense, but I do respect him. But I think Curley's going to have his way. And then you look at J.D. Thompson on the year, 4.44 ERA, 46.2 innings, 56 strikeouts, 17 walks. I think he has been one of your better carryovers from last season in the SEC. Another one of those top-notch lefties in this league. I think this is either an underplay when it comes out tomorrow, or you take Georgia right now if you want to have a bet on this game. Me, I'm going to play a little bit of volume when I know I have pitchers out and I know that these are early lines. I'll take the Bulldogs at minus 154. I think this one's going to be a little bit more of a popular pick. I think it closes around minus 180.
Yeah, I gave out Georgia on my Breaking Bet show earlier this evening. Listen, I love JD Thompson. I really do. You know this from all the shows that we've done in the preseason. I think coming into the year, I had him as not just a top 5 pitcher in the country. I had him as a guy that might be a top 5 pitcher off the board this summer. And I mean, he hasn't done bad. He just hasn't taken the leap that I thought he would. He's shown flashes of it, but he's been a little inconsistent. The command has been an issue. He's gotten a little bit too happy with the walks. The inefficiency has led to a high pitch count and low innings. And it just doesn't seem like he's pitched to the level of what an SEC Friday night ace is, where he's nails almost every single start. And this isn't to say he has not been good. He's been pretty solid overall. But now you're factoring the Vanderbilt offense is so hit or miss. And yes, they play better at home. But, Georgia's going to be one of maybe the best team that they've faced all year. So I think what we're looking at now is Brian Curley, sure, he can be solid. I'm not sold on Curley. I'm not sold on Georgia pitching. I think Vandy's offense can do like maybe 4 or 5 runs. But the fact is, Georgia's offense is the only certainty we know about coming into this weekend. We don't know what Vandy's offense is going to do. We don't know what Vandy's pitching is going to do. We don't know what Georgia's pitching is going to do, but we know what Georgia's offense is going to do. And minus 154, even at a tough environment at Vandy in Nashville against a good pitcher with a full boat of Sawyer Hawks and Miller Green to follow.
Yeah.
I still think Georgia is it's tough to go against Vandy in this spot, but I think Georgia is the better play. And truth be told, man, like if Vanderbilt wins this game, I will not be surprised. I can't get mad at Vandy winning this game because this is absolutely a spot, especially at plus money.
Especially after Georgia knocking off Arkansas, the former number 1 team in the land.
Maybe
Could be a letdown
weekend. Vandy getting smoked at Oklahoma last week. It's all possible.
Yep.
But I'm with you in the sense that I think just Georgia right now is playing much better baseball, and they've been playing much cleaner. And I think that's why we're looking at a good spot here at minus 154.
I agree with you. Let's move on. Let's do the next one. It's back to the mid-major ranks. Minus 110 Liberty against Louisiana Tech minus 120. The Flames are going with Dylan Matheson, who's been their best arm all season, outside of maybe Blair. But Matheson's gone in game 1 most of the time. 4.12 ERA for him, 67 strikeouts, 20 walks, and 48 innings. On the road, though, it is a run higher ERA at 5.14. Louisiana Tech's also going with their dog, Luke Cooley, who's 5-2 on the season, 3.89 ERA, 59 strikeouts, 20 walks, and 41.2 innings. And he's been stellar at home, a run and a half lower ERA at the Love Shack. I'm going with Louisiana Tech here. The Flames, they're coming off a big midweek win against Virginia. This is a little bit of a letdown spot. Plus, their offense away from home has been a little bit questionable. Louisiana Tech is the pick for me. I'm going to look at this one a little bit deeper before I firmly say I'm betting this, but it might be on the Twitter card tomorrow when I post it. Johnny, your thoughts if you have any on this matchup?
That's interesting. I don't have anything official, but just kind of piggybacking. I think Louisiana Tech is interesting because, Luke Cooley as a pitcher has been pretty solid this year, 3.89 ERA. The strikeouts are decent. The walks are a touch high, but not bad. And he's been pretty good overall. This is a guy that went 8 shutout innings, no hit innings against Kennesaw State with 10 strikeouts. He's been overall pretty good. Now we know Liberty's offense is dangerous, has a lot of capability, but we know their pitching is a little bit shady. Like maybe they improved from earlier in the year, but this pitching is definitely something that's a liability. And I think when you have the pitching advantage in this matchup and you're home, it is that's why they're a very small favorite. And it is tough, but I think this is something where I can look at LA Tech stealing it. But I actually have a question for you.
Shoot.
So LA Tech's got Liberty this weekend.
Yep.
Then they got to go play Dallas Baptist next week.
Yeah.
You think there's a look-ahead spot for them?
I wouldn't maybe say Friday when you get to Sunday, or I wouldn't maybe say Thursday, but when you get to Saturday, the holiday, you're at home, so you're probably got some plans with some buddies or some family in the area. That one's definitely maybe a look ahead. Game 3 in the series, but game 1, I still think Liberty's a quality team in the Conference USA. I think they're third right now in the standings. I don't think they're looking ahead of them yet until you possibly win that series, or you're possibly looking ahead to some Easter food and whatnot, extracurricular activities. But I just wanted to mention, like, Liberty's offense this season actually hasn't been as great. They're only hitting 255 as a team, 782 OPS. Their WRC plus is below average, almost 10%. So away from home and after a big win against Virginia, I'm ready to pull the trigger on Louisiana Tech. I'm going to look a little bit more into that matchup only because I haven't, like Johnny mentioned earlier on one of the other matchups, like when you are accustomed to not seeing these teams on a slate or a betting board, like you don't watch them. And I just got to make sure I'm not leading myself and some others astray. So, Ole Miss in South Carolina is next up for us. The Rebs are minus 166. The Gamecocks are plus 130 at Founders Park. Hunter Elliott, he's 5-1. He's going to be starting for Ole Miss today, for Thursday. 392 ERA, 53 strikeouts, 21 walks, and 43.2 innings. The only thing, man, he hasn't had too many road appearances yet this season. He's only thrown 9 innings away from Swayze, and it hasn't been great. I'm hesitant to even say it because 9 innings is nothing with splits, but it's almost double his ERA. Brandon Stone is throwing for South Carolina. He's got a 5.73 ERA, 32 strikeouts, just 8 walks and 33 innings. Look, there's not enough for me to pull the trigger here on South Carolina. It is the side that I want to get to, but just the pitching staff has been a little bit of a wreck with injuries and underperformance. And overall, this team has just not really lived up to expectations of the South Carolina baseball program. And what's this team going to look like after, last weekend, just getting their hearts absolutely ripped out in game 3 by Texas A&M with 2 grand slams to win it. I don't know. The side that I want to get to is the Cox, but I don't know if I can get there, Johnny.
Are you sure Brandon Stone's throwing?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Why is he throwing? I mean, I know it's been like 10 days since he's thrown, but I mean, he's allowed 19 earned runs in his last 4 outings in SEC play. I don't understand. Great. I don't understand why they would throw him. And listen, here's the thing. Like, I want to take Ole Miss even at 166 because Hunter Elliott, he's been pretty good this year.
Yep.
The road sample size has been a little bit too small, but I think is like in the Arizona boat where I would take them, but I'm not officially playing it just yet because I don't love it enough to want to play it. Potentially maybe like an Ole Miss team total over. If you can get Ole Miss like 5.5 runs or 6.5 runs and you take the over with Brandon Stone going, I think that could be an interesting topic of conversation. But sidewise, Ole Miss would be the play, but I'm not officially throwing that out there.
Man, you know who Hunter Elliott's faced on the road so far this season? I just looked this up.
Why don't you tell me? Because you obviously know.
Missouri and Kentucky. Against Mizzou, 3 earned in 4.2, and against Kentucky, 4 earned in 5 innings. He walked 3. He walked 2 against Mizzou, struck out 7. But, I mean, if you're not going 6 strong against Mizzou or Kentucky, or I shouldn't say that about Kentucky. Not really many people have gone 6 strong against Kentucky, but
truthfully, he really hasn't been good. Like, he hasn't had a legitimate good start since February 28th.
Yeah, let's
So,
add this up.
So right before conference play started, he played Jacksonville State. I'll read it off to you. So this is the first start in March. 3 1/3, 4 earned, 3 walks. Against Arkansas, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 8 Ks. Probably his best start. At Mizzou, 4 2/3, 3 earned, 2 walks. Against Florida, 5 2/3, 3 earned, 6 hits, no walks, 7 Ks. At Kentucky, 5 innings, 4 earned, 3 walks. And last week against Tennessee, 4 innings, 3 earned, 4 walks. So, I mean, I don't know. Hunter Elliott's final line right now, his total stat line is 3.92.
In that stretch of games that you just read off, it's a 5.25 ERA compared to his season long of 3.92.
I mean, he really hasn't pitched to the level that we were accustomed to seeing. And yeah, listen, we could say, hey, you know what? He went against Tennessee last week. So 4 innings, 3 earned, 4 walks isn't a disaster. But obviously facing Kentucky or Tennessee, it's a grain of salt. But at Kentucky, that's not a great start. At Mizzou, that's not a great start. I mean, if we're looking at SEC play, his best start is Arkansas, 5 innings, 2 earned, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Yeah. His last 4, it's 6.29 ERA.
Yeah. So I think at a fair point, that's probably not something I'm rushing about.
I struggle to get to that South Carolina side though. Like even coming into
they're
this
not good.
show,
I mean, listen, Ole Miss should win. I in all fairness, I think this is probably an opportunity for us to take team total.
Yeah, JD Atlanta, maybe talking about maybe a look at the over.
Maybe. Very well could be an over.
Yep. Cal Poly and Santa Barbara do battle to the top 5 teams in the Big West right now. The Mustangs are only minus 110 at Santa Barbara. They're minus 120, the Gauchos are. This game was too good not to put on, and it's basically a coin flip. TBAs for both. But, if we were to go with who started game 1 most recently for both of these teams, you're looking at 2 really good pitchers. It's Griffin Ness of Cal Poly, 3.94 ERA, 48 strikeouts, 38 strikeouts, and 18 walks in the 48 innings. And then Tyler Bremner, he's got a 4.02 ERA in the year, 47 innings pitched. He's got 57 strikeouts, only 10 walks. He got roughed up in like that March time zone. February, he was removed early from a game because it was cold, they said, but could have been an injury, whatnot. At home, he's been a different pitcher. 2.54 ERA, it's a 1.5 lower. And compared to his full season batting average against, which is 240, at home, teams just have not seen him well. A 170 batting average against. So I thought it was really interesting. I don't have a bet in this game, but I think both pitchers are great. This is probably like an under when that total comes out tomorrow. But I think the Gauchos back are up against the wall. If they lose this series, they're on the outside looking in trying to get to the Big West Conference tournament because it's only the top 5 teams that get in. 4 and 5 play each other in a play-in game to even earn the right to play in a pool play, which is basically like a regional. So UC Santa Barbara does not want to be a 4 or 5 seed, let alone miss the conference tournament. So back up against the wall. I think they win the series is my take, but I'm not going to put any money on it. Johnny, your thoughts?
I like Cal Poly here. Here's the thing. It's so funny because Tyler Bremner, you're paying the tax all season. And I think books finally realized, like, hey, Santa Barbara's not good. And Tyler Bremner is having a down year. It's the guy who's supposed to be potentially a top 3 pick. Some people ridiculously in the offseason and even leading into the season were saying, oh, well, Bremner might be the number 1 pitcher in the class. He might be better than Jamie Arnold. He might be the top pitcher taken. He could potentially be a number 1 pick. Like the fuck? No. And he's good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of talent, and he's got a very high ceiling and is very projectable as a major league arm for sure. But, there's a limit on how we're going to differentiate the two. Bremner hasn't been bad this year. He's just not been the dominant guy we've known. And
yeah, he's just not a top 5 pick like he was
No,
projected.
and he's not. And truth be told, right now, I don't even know if the draft was held today. I don't even think he'd be a top 15 pick. I mean, I think he could be reasonably outside the top 20. I mean, you got a guy like, and obviously each draft year is different, so it's apples and oranges. But like, you get somebody like Hurston Waldrop that was taken at the end of the first round a couple years ago, when Hurston Waldrop was an elite arm in the SEC with a high projectability. But in any case, Bremner got roughed up against Long Beach State. I mean, he had a solid outing against Irvine, quality start. He had a solid quality start against Hawaii. Wasn't that good against Seattle. CSUN, he was not that good. At UC Riverside last week, he wasn't that good. He went 6 innings, 4 earned. He had 10 strikeouts, 1 walk. Like, it's the 10 strikeouts is impressive, but it's UC Riverside. Look at the competition he's playing. He's not playing an SEC schedule. And Cal Poly, right now, it's between them and Irvine at the moment for the Big West title. And Cal Poly, I think, has surprised a lot of us. They were like an interesting sleeper preseason, but a lot of people thought it was going to come down between Irvine and Santa Barbara for the Big West crown. And, listen, truth be told, man, Cal Poly's playing much better baseball. Like, the big thing, Santa Barbara's offense is not good. Griffin Ness has been pretty decent this year. Santa Barbara has not been somebody that is reliable, and even their bullpen hasn't been that good. So I think Cal Poly is the play here. And it sucks because I wish we were getting that Santa Barbara tax with Tyler Bremner, because this would have been a Cal Poly plus 130, plus 140 spot. But here's how I'd play this. I would go Cal Poly Friday or Thursday, Santa Barbara Saturday with Calvin Prosky, and then I'd probably go back to Cal Poly on Sunday. So a loss for Santa Barbara basically drops them out of any shot of winning the Big West. And then we're probably going to talk about the Hawaii series with Irvine, same sort of deal. So UC Irvine and Cal Poly have a stranglehold on the Big West right now. So they're both playing Hawaii and Santa Barbara respectively. And if both of those teams win in Irvine and Cal Poly, they have a chance to put the hammer down on UCSB and Hawaii of any chance of getting the Big West title.
I think Irvine was up there as a price in game 1. So they're not included on
$3
today's. They're not included on today's slate. But
I'll tell you what, though, real quick. I mean, we don't have to go too deep into it. I think Irvine takes game 1 with Riley Kelly. That Riley Kelly insertion into Friday Night Roll has been a revelation. That's a thing that might propel them, especially at Ricky Ojeda. But I would hopefully go if Hawaii's a big enough dog, Hawaii on Saturday with Liam O'Brien in a bounce back spot.
I really like the Big West this year, man. They have 3 quality teams that we're talking about, and UC Irvine, Cal Poly, and Hawaii that I think are all tournament teams right now. And UC Santa Barbara is dangerous enough in a conference tournament setting in one weekend where they can put it together with all that pitching they have and win a conference tournament. And they could possibly get 4 teams in, and that would be super impressive. And I'm kind of rooting for that because we need Big West baseball with Fullerton and Long Beach to get back to us talking about it on these shows, because they're playing this weekend.
Do we, though? Do we? Oh.
Yes. Yes. We need West Coast baseball back. Like, we just don't talk about.
It's not going to be. I mean, listen, like, Irvine's cool. Here's the problem, though, right, Noah? The problem is, like, it's fun to bet throughout the season, even though it's maddening, because West Coast baseball is the most just unbelievably inconsistent form of sports in the world. But it's like, we know they're not going to win. Like they're not going to win. It's just, it doesn't happen. I mean,
baseball, man.
I get it.
Never say never.
But there's no way of really taking advantage of these teams. Like, if you want to say, hey, listen, we like Irvine. Irvine, if they get a good draw, they can make the College World Series, which I honestly think is true. I think Irvine's one of the few West Coast teams I've seen in the last few years where I'm like, you know what? Like, they're a dangerous West Coast team. And, like, that excludes Oregon State, for instance. But Irvine's only 3-1 on DraftKings to make the College World Series right now. Like where are we going with that? We could realistically roll them over once you get to the regionals and the super regionals. And get a better
just talking about teams to get into the NCAA tournament, I'd much rather see a third-place team out of the Big West that is 25 games over 500, that only lost 5 conference games all season long, then the 13th team out of the SEC that is 6 games over 500 and finished 5 games under 500 in the SEC. That's just me. Agree to disagree, I guess. But, yeah. Texas State and South Alabama, another mid-major game that we're going to talk about here real quick. The Bobcats are an interesting dog here because Alex Valentin has been outstanding on the road this year. He's got a 3.94 ERA on the year, 4-3 record, 48 innings, 41 strikeouts, 25 walks. He's got a 2.96 road ERA. It's a full run less, and opponents are only hitting 133 against this guy. If you've ever watched him pitch, like he's just got an attitude, and he's kind of like a Brian Curley, where it's like nothing is going to be able to get through this kid's head. Like confidence is at an all-time high, does not care how he looks, and he's just going to go out there and get the job done. He's been pretty good this season. And then you got Jackson Scheinflue for South Alabama. He's got a 3.82 ERA in 33 innings, 37 strikeouts, 16 walks, and at home he's been really good too. His ERA is almost 2 runs lower at 2.04 for a home ERA compared to a season long of 3.82. To me, this is like a game that I'm going to be looking at an under for. Texas State and South Alabama. For what it's worth, I think I'll take the plus money with Texas State as my pick here in this game. Johnny, do you have anything that you want to add here?
No, but I mean, I know Texas State baseball from the last few years of watching it. Chase Mora is a stud. I mean, he hasn't really performed as highly as we would come to know. Ryan Farber, I mean, these guys have been on this roster for several years, and it just seems like they're guys that are more interesting mid-major players. Listen, I think it's a battle of like scrappy mid-major teams, but
yeah,
I would take the plus money with Texas State if I had a player.
Top 10 matchup this weekend. Auburn, after sweeping LSU, heads down to Austin, Texas to take on the Longhorns. Texas is minus 200. The Tigers are plus 154 here. And we're looking at a Samuel Dutton. Like this spot screams like all-time letdown. He just threw an absolute gem against his former team. He's 5-2 on the year, 2.34 ERA, 50 innings, 58 strikeouts, 12 walks. He's been stellar. But in his road appearances, it's a 7.71 ERA compared to a 2.34 on the year. Against the number 1 team in the country, I just see like potential for blow up. Texas is going with Jared Spencer, who's been stellar. 3.08 ERA, 49.2 innings, 65 strikeouts, just 22 walks. They're just as good without Max Ballou as they were with him, in my opinion. Just watching this Texas team last week, clutch hit after clutch hit. Like against Kentucky wasn't giving them any big, lopsided innings where they were scoring multiple runs. That's just not Kentucky's disciplined enough to keep them in check. But Texas's pitching staff is one of the best in the country. It's just arm after arm after arm. And I think they'll be able to control much of the game script, and not only this game, but in the series against Auburn. And I'm going to go to Longhorns here. Minus 200 straight is tough for me to get around. I'd probably throw them in like a parlay or something. Johnny, your thoughts?
Same. I've been big on Texas since the preseason. Like they're a preseason Omaha 8 team. They are a legit title contender this year, man. And my boy Max Ballou is gonna be back, and that's gonna be scary. And Ballou is having a really good year, but it just goes to show that even without him, they're able to continue to win and play at a high level. And listen, right now they seem to be a pitch first team, and that there's nothing wrong with that. And they have an offense that is capable of scoring 10 to 15 runs at any given night. And the fact is, like, Jared Spencer, the way he's throwing is off the hook, and the bullpen options they have. But, listen, Auburn, great series win for them last week. But anybody that's watched the Auburn Tigers knows there is a big difference between Auburn at home versus Auburn away. And it's not just the record. It's how they play as a team. It's the offense. It's the pitching staff. Samuel Dutton hasn't been as sharp. The bullpen is not very deep for Auburn. And now they're going up against a legitimate pitching staff that is ranked as possibly number 1 in the country.
I think they were number 2 when I looked, only behind.
Well,
I think
that's just an ERA.
Yeah,
that's just an ERA. Western Kentucky's ranked number 1 in ERA, but I'm talking about in terms of like talent, depth, production. Texas in a parlay. This is a spot for them, man. I think Auburn's due for a big letdown here, and listen, I think this potentially has a sweep written all over it. This could be a potential sweep because Auburn's best chance to get one is tomorrow, and if they don't get it tomorrow, I'm not counting on Cade Fisher having 2 good games in a row, even though he is a lefty and Texas hasn't been as good against lefties this year. And then Chatterton having another good start is possible, but I don't know if they're going to have enough pitching here. So I think, honestly, I wish we had tiers prices because I would probably pick Texas to get a sweep.
Yeah, that's the next thing on the list that we've been asking for. Series, first fives, pitcher props. Let's get them. Growing game. It's a growing game. We've got 2 more games on the slate here that we're going to talk about. NC State is minus 130 at Cal plus 100. Cal is not throwing Austin Turkington. Speaking of Texas, they have a Texas transfer, David Shaw. No, that is not the former Stanford football head coach. This is a Cal pitcher, and David Shaw, who has an 8.78 ERA, 27.2 innings under his belt this season, 27 strikeouts, 18 walks. He has thrown 18 innings at home this season, and it's a 4 ERA. It's almost 5 runs lower than his current season long. So that is notable. But overall, I don't think he's been a very solid arm for Cal this season. NC State's going to trot out Dom Fritton, who's been their number 1 guy for most of the year. He had been stuttering recently, so I don't know what his recent numbers look like. But on the year, he's 4-3, 3.60 ERA, 50 innings, 65 strikeouts, 22 walks. Just the way that NC State offense operates, you are never safe from a 7-run inning. We can see him in the 2nd inning. We can see it in the 9th inning. And I just think that NC State's offense is due for pretty much one of those a game. And I don't think, man, I was about to say, I don't know if Cal has got the guns and weaponry for that, but we've seen them do that to Louisville and Stanford too. So I don't know. I'm on NC State here. I'm not nearly as confident in it as I should be. I mean, it's a Friday night guy for NC State going up against a midweek arm or just a guy that lost his weekend rotation spot in Cal. Johnny, do you have a feel in this game?
No. It's 2 teams that really aren't that good. I would probably be more interested on a total here. If you can get a number that's like 13.5 or lower, I think it's definitely an over here. Dom Fritton has not been good his last few starts. He's given up 14 earned runs in his last 3 outings at Duke, Virginia, Louisville. He's giving up a ton of hits. The walks aren't huge, but it's, still you're putting on 2 or 3 walks in less than 6 innings. He's given up 7 home runs. Cal has honestly been able to score, especially, at home. NC State, we know, is capable of scoring, especially against weaker pitching. You saw what they did to UVA last week or the week before. So I'd probably look towards an over.
It's a 9 ERA in the last 3 outings for Dom Fritton. So
yeah,
not sharp lately. So that's why I don't know. I don't have a great feel here. When it comes down to the offenses, I think I have a little bit more trust in NC State than Cal. And that would be the way I pick it. Last game on the slate is Portland and San Diego. And we've got Caden Siegel going for the Pilots. They're plus 124 on the money line up against San Diego, minus 160, who has Logan Redmond on the bump. Siegel on the year has a 5.08 ERA. On the road, it's 9 flat. 40 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 44.1 innings against Logan Redeman, who's been stellar this year. 174 ERA, 41.1 innings, 40 strikeouts, 8 walks. Go look at San Diego's beginning of the season. Their non-conference schedule was tough. They were really sliding early, and then all of a sudden they get into conference play. The team's building momentum and building confidence, and they're playing better. I know they've won, I think, 2, maybe even 3 weekend series in a row here, and this is going to be a bet for me. I like the Toreros at minus 160 with their ace on the bump against Portland's pitcher who has a 90 ERA on the road. I'm going to take that pretty much every day of the week.
Pretty solid bet, but I'm not. This doesn't really speak to me in terms of like I need to have it. This might be something that I probably add to a parlay later on if I need a little late night magic. Let me get a little San Diego in there. Are you really not going to? Are you really not going to have A&M? We're not going to talk about A&M.
We were going to throw that in the, at the end if you wanted to talk about a big dog or a money line favorite parlay. But San Diego on the season, they have 11 wins. They've won 5 in a row and 7 of the last 10. And one of those wins came against UCLA on the road. So interesting. They're finding the stride late, which is what you need to do in these mid-major conferences. Just go out and carry momentum in the conference tournament and then win that thing, and then you're in the NCAA tournament dancing. But yeah, let's open it up. Money line favorites that you like that you're going to throw into a parlay, or money line dogs that you think are live.
Yep, Texas A&M, bro. Listen, I think Arkansas is a good team, but I think they're a little overrated. I think they've taken advantage of an incredibly easy schedule, and that's even in the SEC. Honestly, if we're looking at it, they haven't beaten anybody. Their big signature win was sweeping at Vandy, and don't get me wrong, that's good, that's impressive, but that's not like a signature win. And yeah, they played Georgia tough in Athens last week. Credit to them, but they lost. I think their offense was terrible to start the year, and then they finally got it going, and it's kind of being viewed as, hey, Arkansas finally has an offense. I'm not sold yet. I think they're going to regress to the mean. I mean, I expected it to be better than last year because their offense last year was fucking terrible, and there was no way they couldn't have gotten any worse than it was. They're always going to be able to pitch. And now you have Gage Wood coming back. He's slotted in the Saturday rotation, which means Gackel's back to the pen. Fine. But we have this thing with Arkansas where, it might be their year. Honestly, I'd be pissed if it was because they were my preseason pick last year. But I think now with A&M kind of resurfacing, there were 9 toes in the grave, and now they're crawling up out. And I don't want to speak too soon, but now it's starting to get interesting. You're getting Prager plus 180 with an offense that's heating up. And yes, I know A&M's offense does not do as well against lefties. Zach Root's a lefty, but he hasn't been that great lately. He's been okay. Nothing special. And that's also an A&M offense that was just dreadful. And Ryan Prager, listen, he hasn't been as sharp. He's given up 10 home runs in his last 4 starts.
He's almost got a 70 ERA in SEC play this year.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to counter with. It's
honestly, it's been an anomaly. It's been very strange, but I think at some point he's gonna dial it in. But the end of the day is you're getting plus 180. That's nuts. A&M, if they keep playing the way they have been playing, and their offense keeps eating, and their pitching just continues to dial in, and Prager improves, I mean, if A&M was playing up to their capability like they had been all year, would we really be sitting here saying, yeah, they're a plus 180 dog at Arkansas at this point in the year? No, they'd probably be like a 110 dog. Give me A&M.
It's in principle not a terrible look. I can't get behind Prager right now, just how he's struggled recently. And I mean, you kind of already spelled out the handicap why you wouldn't bet A&M. because that offense still has had some dry spells, even in this streak where they've kind of found their footing again. Flirting with 2 losses against that South Carolina team is not a great weekend, but they did get the sweep. More credit, more power to them, but I'm not ready yet. I actually really like this Arkansas team. I agree. I disagree with you. I think that this offense is one of the better offenses in the country.
No, they're not.
So yeah, I think so. So
they're not.
I think it's the number 1 team in the country all around.
I think you're wrong.
I'm going to take you to a money line parlay leg of LSU. This one's pretty dang simple. Cade Anderson against Alabama's not number 1. On the year, Cade Anderson 6-1 with a 3.40 ERA, 51.2 strikeouts, 13 walks, 81 strikeouts, 51.2 innings. Sorry. And Alabama's trotting out redshirt sophomore Tyler Fay, who has a 4.98 ERA and 21.1 innings, 15 strikeouts, 6 walks. I just think it's a huge starting pitching advantage. And LSU is on a super bounce back weekend. I like the Tigers. So I'll take them against Alabama, who, they were kind of a darling early in the year. The offense looked incredible. The offense has been pretty pedestrian in the SEC so far this season. So I like LSU.
Yeah, so do I. Super bounce back weekend is honestly is a perfect way to describe it.
Simple handicap.
it's a simple handicap, and Alabama's not even throwing Zane Adams, who hasn't been good, but now they're going with a guy who's more of a rando, more of somebody that is not a weekend rotation guy. And
I think he was in the weekend rotation last year, but that was due to injury. So
yeah,
he has some starts under his belt, but up against Cade Anderson, I'm taking Cade every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I on my card, I have a 2-unit LSU Texas parlay.
There we go.
Simple, easy, plus money. You're getting
like
2 stud lefties. It's, not overly complicated. And I think this is an instance where we have a really good chance of cashing. And I would like to point out, so Ryan Hasty's comment here, Vegas thinks Arkansas can play. A lot of people do right now. And they're not a bad team. They're a good team. But but there's like this spell on them, like they're the best team in college baseball, which I don't agree with. But not for nothing. If we're going by what Vegas thinks, which Vegas, I think we know, is not the sharpest on college baseball, at least to this point. They still have Vanderbilt at 22-1 to win the College World Series. They have Georgia Tech at 22-1. So they have Bama at 35-1. So I'm not buying it just yet.
Yeah, I honestly don't see like a couple of huge dogs that I really, really like. I just think it's a weird, phenomenon that on this weekend, on Easter weekend last year, Missouri at home swept Florida.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they host Oklahoma. The Tigers are plus 280 there. I'm not targeting that as a bet by any means against Kyson Witherspoon, but it's interesting. The other interesting game / series that I think is worth a note is in the Mountain West. They play each other twice sometimes. New Mexico swept UNLV earlier this season. This is being priced as New Mexico as a slight dog. So I didn't find pictures on the game, but it'll be worth a look tomorrow afternoon to see who's throwing for both teams, because I kind of want to be on New Mexico's side there. The offense is legit.
There's one game that we didn't even discuss, pretty much the only one. Texas Tech, Arizona State. ASU is a minus 270 favorite at home. Tech is 2-1 dog. You know how much I love my ASU Sun Devils, but they have been a fucking disaster, bro.
Dude, I saw that in first person last weekend. Their bullpen gave up 8 runs in the final 2 innings.
Corey Braun, right? You were there last weekend?
Yeah. I was at Cincy.
Oh, very cool. But you know how much I love my ASU Sun Devils. But dude, their bullpen is a disaster. They lost at Cincinnati last week. That's just disgusting. It's disgusting. So I feel like Tech 2-1 is interesting. What do you think?
I don't know if I want to do it on a Ben Jacobs start. Like, he impressed me last weekend. He didn't have his A+ stuff, but he still went 5 strong. And I think he stranded like 8 runners on base against Cincy. And then Cincy pounded that Sun Devil bullpen. So, yeah, I was impressed by like not having your A+ and still going out there and giving 5 full, like, solid innings. So I think he's due for a good game. I wouldn't be surprised if let's look this up here.
Yeah, bro. But like, I mean, Ben Jacobs hasn't had a legitimate good start this year. Like, I'm talking about a fucking good start. The only one was Gonzaga. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs.
And their offense is trash.
I mean, he's gone 6 innings in conference play once, and that was against at Utah, where he let up 4 earned and 3 walks. I mean, I like Ben Jacobs a lot, but bro, the inefficiency, like basically just same thing with JD Thompson. The ability to be not having strong command consistently, rising pitch counts, inefficiency, and just sometimes you are not able to locate and miss your spots.
Yeah, and there's not massive splits there, home or road, in favor of him at home. So,
I mean, he's almost a 5 ERA pitcher, and like his talent is a legitimate first round player. Like he is a legitimate first round talent, but he hasn't performed anything close to that.
No. Nope. Anything else that catches your eye that you want to throw out here before we get out of here?
No, I think for me that's it. I think I'm good there.
Taking one last scroll, but I think I might co-sign that exact pairing too. LSU, Texas. I really like both. Like you mentioned, like the handicap of it, but both spots are tremendous. You know,
home teams, advantage pitchers.
Auburn off of a huge home sweep, and LSU off of a brutal sweep on the road. So it just seems like, you know, Cade Anderson against a non-SP1, and then Jared Spencer against Sam Dutton, who has a 7 ERA on the road. I like it a lot, that pairing. So, yeah. Hey, Steven saying, love that Texas LSU parlay. Johnny, thank you very much. I'll co-sign it. Follow Johnny on Twitter and social media at _JohnnyVTV. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Highly recommend it. He's doing NFL and MLB, I think. And then I am on Twitter and social media at NoahB77 _. That's going to wrap it up for us over at the College Baseball Experience. You can follow the show on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Hit that like and subscribe button here on YouTube. Like and subscribe and leave a rating and review wherever you're listening on podcast platforms. We truly do appreciate it. We'll be delivering shows almost every day whenever they put out odds 24 hours in advance. That was super, super nice. Even if they do it like 12 hours in advance, I might be here at 2 a.m. Johnny probably will not be. He's got a bedtime and he wants to get out of here right now. So.
I'm old, bro. I got a bedtime.
But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here at the College Baseball Experience. I expect a whole lot more of us down the road here to Omaha. This has been TCE on SGPN. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.